anything with their school or memory or continuous headaches.
For concussion treatment, get started at ElevatePerformanceSD.com.
Doesn't matter where your ride's from. At Al's D&I, we baby them, every single one. Got a ride from across the pond? No worries. Let the ASE certified pros at Al's D&I pamper your pride and joy. Foreign or domestic, maintenance or repair. Doesn't matter if it requires special parts or tools or if its owner's manual is in another language. At Al's D&I, we don't care where your ride's from, but we do take great care to treat your ride like it is our own. Drive on in to Al's D&I, Sturgis Road, and online at alsdniautorepair.com.
Question. When you walk into the boardrooms of the most successful companies here in South Dakota, who do you meet? When you're working for a mover and shaker with strong ties to our community, who are they? When you encounter a group of people eager to roll up their sleeves, who are you most likely to work with? Answer. Men and women who played high school sports. Education-based high school sports give us more than athletes we can root for. They give us leaders we can depend on. Taking the initiative, being a good teammate, sacrificing personal glory for the greater good. These are qualities we expect of our leaders, and they're all being cultivated in the high schools right here in South Dakota. Question. So where will we find tomorrow's leaders? Answer. High school sports.
This message presented by the South Dakota High School Activities Association and the South Dakota Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
Here's what you need to know.
The Arizona Cardinals informed quarterback Kyler Murray that they will be releasing him. Murray posted on social media, quote, "I wanted nothing more than to be the one to end the 77-year drought for this organization. I am sorry I failed us. I wish this community and my brothers nothing but the best," unquote. The Indianapolis Colts placed a $37.8 million transition tag on quarterback Daniel Jones. The Cincinnati Bengals did not use the franchise tag on defensive end Trey Hendrickson, making him an unrestricted free agent. Hendrickson posted a goodbye message to Cincinnati on social media. The Seattle Seahawks did not use the franchise tag on Super Bowl MVP running back Kenneth Walker, making him an unrestricted free agent. The New York Jets placed the franchise tag on running back Breece Hall. ESPN reports Chicago Bears Pro Bowl center Drew Dahlman is retiring after 5 seasons in the NFL. I'm Isaac Lowenkron.
It's time for South Dakota's Sports Talk Show. This is the Nate Brown Show, featuring live callers, great interviews, and thought-provoking sports talk. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
All right, welcome in. It is South Dakota Sports Talk Show on a Tuesday, and it's going to be a lively Tuesday. I'm ready. I'm ready out of the gate. Good stuff tonight. The Nate Brown Show is back. We are live on KWSN, Fox Sports Sioux Falls, and also on Fox Sports Rapid City. It is always a great day in South Dakota. Say it with me, and pretty nice weather across the state. Hope you're enjoying it. Tuesday edition of the program looks good. A great guest lineup across the board. We'll talk high school. We'll talk college. We'll talk pros, all right here on South Dakota Sports Talk Show on Fox Sports Radio. Remember, you can stream us also on X right now. We're at Nate Brown Show. Follow us. Watch us live at Nate Brown Show. Saying hi to everybody on X. Welcome in studio. The Nate Brown Show on YouTube. We've got our channel live right now. Subscribe to it if you could. The Nate Brown Show. Search for it, and you've got us on YouTube right now. Plus, Midwest Sports Plus, the new high school sports streaming app. I've been telling you about it. Get the new app, and you can watch this show live as well on Midwest Sports Plus. So we're off and running on a lively Tuesday. Why is it lively? It is happening. There's just steps along the way, just a process that needs to play out, and it is happening for you Minnesota Vikings fans. So hang on. We got a lot to get to tonight. Let's look at the guest lineup, then we'll get popping. We're going to open up open mic night tonight. We're going to open up open mic night on the Nate Brown Show. That might be interesting. Coming up, we'll go to Matthew Collar from the Twin Cities. Purple Insider, Matthew Collar live talking Vikings. They've got a couple of big headlines. I'm going to hit on one major and then one where he's a really good player and they might trade him. Trying to get some assets here. So let's get into all that with the Vikings talk. Matthew Collar coming up from Purple Insider. He's straight ahead. College football national insider John Bryce. He has a new gig. You know John Bryce, right? He's been on this show regularly, one of the best college football writers out there. He's got a new gig, and I'm going to invite him on tonight. USA Today college football insider John Bryce. He is in tonight. There's a big college meeting today. It's like a secret meeting in Dallas. How did we find out about this? But a big college meeting with presidents. And when the presidents get together in Dallas, then people start wondering what's happening. John Bryce is coming up. We will talk to Eric Williams, national NFL writer for FoxSports.com. This was the franchise tag day. A couple of big players not tagged. Some are tagged. We'll get to that. Eric Williams, FoxSports.com, national NFL writer. And Paul Kiefer's on tonight. He's the head girls basketball coach, Rapid City Christian. Sodak 16 action coming up Thursday. Rapid City Christian trying to get into the State A girls tournament. We'll talk to their coach, Paul Kiefer. He's on tap. High school to college to the pros. The Nate Brown Show is on, and I said inviting you on. Open mic night tonight, 605-720-1067. 605-720-1067. Put that number in. Pizza Ranch Studio Hotline into this program, powered by the Pizza Ranch. Locations in Brandon and East 10th Street, Sioux Falls. Stop by. Everyone's favorite buffet is at the Pizza Ranch. Also, the Barron's Wilson text line open and ready, 605-720-1067. That is the text line. Same number if you can't call, text to be a part of the show that way. Barron's Wilson text line, 605-720-1067. All right. I'm not going to get let's see how much pushback are we going to get. Are we going to get some pushback today? Because it's coming to fruition. So the Arizona Cardinals said already they're going to release Kyler Murray. So what have I said the last couple of weeks on this show? I didn't say maybe you should look at Kyler Murray if you're the Vikings. I don't know. Maybe Geno Smith. I don't know. Look at Derek Carr. How about Tua? I didn't say any of that. I wasn't like a lot of these NFL guys. They go on ESPN. They go on all this stuff. And they say, well, the Vikings could do. I don't know. It's not a good fit. I wonder who fits the best with Kevin O'Connell. And I don't care who fits. You go and get the best player. 2 weeks ago, I said, the Vikings will get Kyler Murray because the Cardinals looked like they were going to do what they announced today. And the Cardinals announced today they're out on Kyler Murray. That means they're going to be on the hook for his money, and that means the Vikings can get Kyler Murray, and it's all coming to fruition. So the steps are being taken. I didn't waffle on this. I didn't straddle the fence. I wasn't going, if, maybe, well, how would you, could you, shoulda. No. I told you Kyler Murray's the choice. The Minnesota Vikings are going to make the play. And I'm going to tell you, it is going to be a resurrection of his career. And I'm going to tell you, he's going to take the Vikings to the playoffs and to playoff victories. This isn't messing around stuff. This isn't just, let's see. I guess we could try Geno Smith. Don't mess around. Don't mess around. You need a player, and Kyler Murray is the player. So I'm going to see if there's any pushback on the Nate Brown Show tonight. The steps are being taken. The Cardinals are going to release him. They said that. So he's going to get released next week. And the Minnesota Vikings have to be at the top of this list. The Vikings have to be at the top of his list. Supposedly, ESPN's reporting that he has two teams that he wants to go to. He has two teams he wants to go to. And, one of them, I would have to say, don't you know? It's the give me a don't. Minnesota Vikings has to be one of them. Why should the Vikings get Kyler Murray? I've been telling you this for a while. Well, now I'm just going to lay it out for you. You know how much they're going to pay Kyler Murray? You know how much the Vikings are going to pay Kyler Murray? $1.3 million. So all of this stuff is it's not just because I think he's talented and can have a career resurrection with all of the weapons and KOC's coaching and the whole thing. It's $1.3 million, the minimum. That's all he's going to get paid. This is a no-brainer. I mean, you do it now. Thanks for getting in. You're live, and you go ahead.
Hey, no, I 100% agree with you that they're getting Kyler Murray, but not one. I believe as a quarterback, you don't have to be great at everything, but you have to be special at something. And Kyler Murray's legs are so special that it puts him, at least gives you a skill that you can build your offense around. The second chunk is I don't think it's the right choice for Minnesota to go after Kyler Murray because I think he's a 1-year fix or a 2-year fix, very similar to Sam Darnold. But alternatively, if KOC doesn't make a playoff run this year, his job is going to be in jeopardy.
Yeah.
They're going to make a choice based off KOC of him being the most veteran leader in the room. He's going to get to drive that decision. KOC is going to advocate for him to be there and for then him to be the starter for the next year or two. I'm also going to make a comparison that you didn't make here of when Matt Rule went to Nebraska.
Okay.
He was getting paid all of his salary by the Carolina Panthers. Nebraska did not have to pay him much. I advocated for Matt Rule when that job became available for that same reason. That goes to your exact argument of the $1.3 million to Kyler Murray.
Okay, so if you don't think Kyler Murray fits, it's like, well, I don't know. I don't know. KOC's going to win. Who would you take now? I mean, you said the Vikings are going to take him, but is there somebody else you would take?
Well, I either think, one, unless the people in the room think that, absolutely that their current quarterback isn't the guy, I personally think you stick with the young fellow and give him another chance for a year or two.
Okay.
Look how bad in his first year Caleb Williams looked last year. And I know this is technically his second year, but he didn't play his entire first year. If you give him one additional year in the NFL, could he turn into the guy? You get such an advantage having that cheap money for 2, 3, 4 years that really being able to flex your young quarterback, I think, is the way to move going forward. And I'm afraid that if you bring in Kyler Murray, they're going to bench their current quarterback for Kyler Murray. Just based off of his experience last year.
All right, man. I appreciate you. This is a good call. I appreciate you getting on. Open mic night tonight on the Nate Brown Show. We've got it. I just ask you, where am I going wrong with Kyler Murray? That last caller, he had some good stuff there. He said, no, the Vikings are going to take Kyler Murray. They're going to take him. Well, yeah, you're going to take him. You have to take him, and you can still have JJ there, and I understand you're going to bench him, but if Kyler Murray just fizzles out, he's just nothing, it's just over, then you still have JJ McCarthy, and you guys can try that again. But you have to go get him because the Cardinals are going to pay him, and so you've got a discount. This is a beauty. It's an absolute beauty. So who else would you take is my question. I'm going to put that out in the question of the day, as a matter of fact, as we start tonight. Tell me who the Vikings should select as a quarterback to bring in. Because you can't just say you're against Kyler. You got to give me another argument to bring somebody else in. Thanks for getting on. You're live, and you go ahead.
As a Kansas City Chiefs fan since, I believe 1960, I'm praying. I went to church this morning and ask the Lord, please, Minnesota, take Kyler.
Oh, come on. Who else would you take? There's nobody.
I'd bring back Kirk Cousins before I would Murray, but I'm hoping. What? Kirk can't win ball games?
No, not anymore. It's over.
When has Kyler won ball games?
Oh, he's won games.
Look at the coaching staff that he has had. What is this, like his 9th, 10th year?
7th. You just got done with 7.
Okay, 7. Yeah. And they all had the same opinion about him. But yet them coaches move on to bigger and better things. What's Cliff doing nowadays? Making a ton of money coaching the NFL. But here's the deal with Kyler. I'm praying that he goes.
Why? So you think Minnesota loses?
Well, yeah, they always lose, Nate. And they got rid of Sam Darnold. But here's the deal. What has Kyler won? What has Kyler really done in the NFL?
He's been a top 15 QB. Top 15.
Do you remember that guy that Denver gave like $200 million to?
I do.
What's his name?
Yeah, I do remember him.
You're still harping on that. So,
yeah.
And last week when I texted in, you forgot to say, you forgot to add Wilson after each of them names.
All right.
Because that's what you're going to get, Rusty.
Rusty 2.0. All right, man. Thanks. Appreciate you. Rusty 2.0. He's calling him Russell Wilson 2.0. No. Kyler's still pretty young. Kyler's really athletic. Kyler's a top 15 QB his whole career. I mean, even when he's been down a little bit with the Cardinals, could you honestly say he's not a top 15 talent? Kyler Murray has over 20,000 passing yards and over 3,000 rushing yards. He's got 121 passing TDs and 32 rushing TDs and 60 interceptions his whole career. He's 2-1 TDs to interceptions. 2-1. So it's not like it's the other way around. We act like this guy's just not a player. No, he's a player. Arizona's offense ranked in the top 13 in scoring, in his full seasons at the helm. When he had full seasons at the helm, top 13. That's the Cardinals, who have struggled big time. I mean, he was the number one pick, guys, so he wasn't going to a good team. You may know that. He was the number one pick. He wasn't going to a good team, and he still was ranked 12th in scoring in 2020, 7th in 2021, and 12th in 2024 overall grades. So, I mean, there's the case is this. I'm going to give you the we got a listener text coming in. Listener text, who would you take? That's my question of the day. Kyler Murray's getting released by the Cardinals. It's coming to fruition. And you know what I said? I don't know if this is getting people a little wound up today on Twitter. Sometimes you can do that. I said, you heard it here first. Kyler Murray will lead the Minnesota Vikings to their first Super Bowl. This is the best quarterback KOC's had. This is the best QB KOC has had. And now he's got some talent there. So around him. So I know I'm going off today. But I'm letting you guys go off too on open mic night tonight on the Nate Brown Show. Kyler Murray's the choice. It's a slam dunk. It's going to cost you nothing. You can keep JJ. You can see how it goes. And when Kyler's throwing darts next year, I want to know what you guys are going to say. Where are you guys going to be? Because he's going to be lighting it. Listener text coming in. You didn't listen at all yesterday, did you? You didn't listen at all. What's that supposed to mean? You didn't listen at all yesterday, did you? What's that supposed to mean? I don't even know what that means. Listen at all to what? Let's see. Who would you take instead of Kyler Murray? Or let's look at his records here. Okay? I want to know what his record is. When Kyler plays for the Cardinals, they were 33-38. You're going to say, oh, see, they're bad. That's when Kyler plays. They're 33-38. When Kyler didn't play, when he got hurt, guess what they are? 5-25. So when Kyler played, they're 33-38 in his career since 2020. When he didn't play for the Cardinals, they're 5-25 since 2020. Wow, that's amazing. I wonder if Kyler was good for them or not. Let's see here. Listener text, you realize he's as tall as Dr. Evil's mini-me, right? Oh, no, that's a bogus argument there. That's a bogus argument. This guy's a player. I mean, he's 5'10". He's 5'10". He can get out of the pocket. He can run. He's an athlete now. I mean, he's an athlete. I'm serious. I'm not screwing around tonight. I really think you put him in the Minnesota Vikings offense with Kevin O'Connell and Justin Jefferson and these guys. I'm serious, guys. This is a big-time deal. This isn't just messing around anymore with the Vikings. This is big time. This isn't just thinking, well, let's see if Geno Smith's good still. Come on. Who would you take if you don't take Kyler? I'm not getting any answers that I've got, what have I got here? Tua. I did get a couple of Tuas. Are you trying to, speaking of injuries and being short and not doing much, you're not going to take Tua over Kyler Murray. That's crazy. That's crazy. Lister text, you didn't listen at all. Ben Lieber said no. Oh, yeah, no. I respect Ben. But he was thinking Derek Carr. And, I can't go down that road. He hasn't played in 2 years. So the Derek Carr thing, I have no clue where that's just not going to work. And Kyler's going to be $1.3 million. This is nothing. It's chump change. You just find it, you give it to them, you serve it up, and the Vikings go on a run. You guys are ready, right? I'm not being crazy. I think the Super Bowl thing's a little crazy. I was just having a little fun. But winning in the playoffs will happen. Kyler Murray's an elite talent. The Vikings have a team. They'll get it going, and this is a no-brainer. This is an absolute no-brainer. Let's see. Lister text. Just do anyone other than McCarthy. Okay, anyone other than McCarthy. So you got to be excited about Kyler. You got to be excited. Lister text, will KOC be concerned the riff it will make with McCarthy? I don't think so. It sounds like KOC is a little cold with JJ. They had a falling out. It seems like it's not going so well. So KOC can blame himself for that. These guys made that call, and JJ didn't have that many starts and, the whole thing. So you can go back through the thing. You miss. People whiff on stuff. They whiffed on it, and I think that's over. So you got to go to plan B, and that's Kyler Murray on a bargain, and the Vikings are going to win in the playoffs. I love it. It's just why. I've been waiting for it for a couple of weeks. This is going to happen. Cardinals say he's done. Vikings are going to get him. Just make it happen. We'll be here when it does. Let's roll. Let's roll. John Bryce coming up next as our first guest, College Football Insider. What are we talking college football? Presidents of universities, some big universities met today in Dallas. They're concerned about the future of college sports. Well, what does that mean? Coming up.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
There's nothing like it. Miles in any direction. People from all kinds of backgrounds to share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one, so you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
What do you call a place? It's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait? There's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? You're playing craps 1 minute and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
I didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
There are 1 billion credit card transactions around the world every day. That's 11,698 swipes a second. It's easy to forget that behind each one, there's a person, a family, a dream, a connection being made. The Black Hills Federal Credit Union Visa, for members who want to make the most of every transaction.
Is everywhere you need us to be, on the sidelines supporting our local athletes, at our clinic locations throughout the region, and at our Ortho Express walk-in clinic when you don't have time to wait. We're here when you need us, working as a team to make your comeback stronger than ever. Getting stronger, getting better, getting you back to your best self. The life of an athlete has its uncertainties, wins and losses, injury and recovery. In the Black Hills area, athletes can always count on Monument Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, here for whatever moves you.
From high school to college to the pros, from Rapid City to Sioux Falls, the Nate Brown Show is South Dakota's sports talk.
Hey, welcome back in. Your sports, your show, the Nate Brown Show. Glad you're here. Thanks for making this show possible. Hope you're having a solid Tuesday. We're live on Fox Sports Radio, KWSN Sioux Falls, and Fox Sports Rapid City. Matthew Coller's coming up from Minneapolis. What's his take on what the Vikings should do at quarterback? Mine is Kyler Murray, end of story, nobody else. Get it done today. $1.3 million minimum you got to pay him because the Cardinals are going to cut him. They just announced it this afternoon. Vikings and Kyler Murray, let's go. Matthew Coller's coming up from Purple Insider, covers the Vikings straight ahead. John Bryce is on tonight. We've had John over the years, and now he's got a new opportunity. How about this? College Football Insider, USA Today. I've worked with these guys at USA Today. They got a good team there. Got a good team, and John Bryce is joining them. John, welcome in. Congrats, man. How are you?
I'm good, Nate. Very generous introduction by you. I appreciate it. A very humbling opportunity. This is my first live radio session since the announcement I was joining USA Today, so I appreciate you.
That's big time. Okay, so we got the debut from USA Today. I'm going to get into a couple of things, and you and I talked about a lot of this stuff. You're really good at this stuff. So let's go to this meeting in Dallas. This is being reported. Trustees of schools, current and former donors, university presidents, LSU, TCU, the list is on. They're meeting in Dallas with a group, a private equity-backed group, Smash Sports. And I guess they're talking about a bunch of stuff, media rights, collective bargaining. What do you think this is all about when big wigs get in a meeting like this discussing college athletics' future?
Well, typically because so few people in college athletics have been forward-thinking, when they get to the point that it's meetings like this, it lets you know the situation is very stark. And I think that's how I would describe it with what's going on. The gap is growing wider between the haves and the have-nots. It is not narrowing, not with revenue sharing, not with the inequitable application of NIL laws and NIL capabilities from some places. And so, I've had executives in that arena tell me that collective bargaining would be huge, but particularly that a central media deal for college athletics, specifically college football, would be really beneficial overall for the sport and keep it maybe healthy for up to 60 teams, whereas without some sort of central policy, some central negotiation for TV rights across multiple networks, similar to the NFL, that without that, the gap will grow, the chasm will widen, and you'll still have 18 or 20 teams that will be able to sustain being haves, and everyone else will drift into kind of haves to have-nots to irrelevant.
So are you saying this is like this meeting today in Dallas with Smash Sports talking about media rights? Hey, we want to get a national thing, like you said, like the NFL. So are these different programs and universities that are saying, we can't compete with the Big Ten or maybe even the SEC. They're getting all the TV money. We got to do something. Is that the deal?
Yeah, that's the deal. That's a big part of the deal. That's also like the Big Ten and the SEC specific are on an unprecedented streak of record-setting revenue distribution to their members for more years in a row than I can count, but it's really been sustained from like 2010 onward, as we saw one on the edge of that round of conference expansions that came around 2013-14. The revenue just has skyrocketed from there. So the Big Ten and the SEC are distributing so much more to their programs. That's why you've seen the ACC get desperate and offer different formulas for its membership based on when they appear, how often they appear on primetime games, what their television numbers are. Miami, Florida State, Clemson, etc. can earn more money from the league and revenue distribution. That's their way to keep those teams in the ACC and give them a chance to compete revenue distribution-wise with the SEC and Big Ten, and then the ACC views it as like, if we hang on to those 3 teams, 4 teams, it keeps our whole league relevant, and then we still get a better package overall. Big 12 in the mix right there. Big 12, great basketball. Brett Yormark, really innovative, does a lot of good things. He's found new revenue streams for them. They're still trying to find more. So, yeah, it's saying we can't compete with them because we're TCU and we've poured everything in to get to this point, and TCU has a lot of money, but can they sustain it long term against a Texas, against a Michigan, against an Ohio State? And that's where the private equity comes in. They're able to, if they work it out like Utah has done, they can give an upfront cash infusion, and then they're basically buying into those rights and saying, we're going to invest in TCU football now and give you, or TCU athletics right now, and give you the money you need to operate right now, and we're investing that your TV deal is going to be worth more in the future, and we're going to make money off of that.
So this meeting coming on this letter that came out from Louisville today, the president, the athletic director, a chair of the trustees, this from Louisville, the title, College Athletics is Running Out of Time, and they're saying you can't keep a balance sheet like this. Even a program like Louisville, they spent $167 million. They brought in $155 million. They're cutting into their reserves down to $3.4 million left. They had $34 million in reserves. So Louisville's saying this is going to be the model that's going to kill everybody unless we do something. And one of the highlights they want is a spending cap, and they want something from Congress. So Louisville's hitting the alarm bells, and they can't be the only ones.
No, they're not at all the only ones. And the thing is, even the haves and the ones that are comfortable with the cash outflow right now want a spending cap. They just don't want to be the ones to say it publicly, or they don't know how to make it effective without prompting lawsuits. And so that's the big key, because I do believe, and I have talked to a number of people, there isn't a groundswell movement on college campuses for these athletes to be unionized and become employees, because here's how a coach put it to me, for just one example, and multiple people have used very similar examples, but like, you unionize, and all of a sudden, September 20th, you miss the game-winning field goal, and you clean out your locker that night because you're a union employee and you've been dismissed. Or and maybe you're still getting paid, but all of a sudden, because you are a union employee, but all of a sudden you're not on the team anymore, and your contract, you get paid through your contract, which might only run through December, and then somebody else is going to have to sign you and take a chance, and the last memory is going to be you missed a field goal, and it cost your team a game that ultimately might mean costing your team $20+ million because of a CFP berth that could conceivably be on the line. So there's so many elements to it there that I do think schools all over want the spending cap. They want some sort of equitable framework to go compete within that. And then coaches believe in themselves, and they believe if it's remotely equitable, they'll find a way to be a better recruiting program. They'll find a way to point to their player development, and they'll use that as a recruiting tool. Or basketball coaches will use that in men's and women's basketball as recruiting tools. And so because of that, yeah, there has to be intervention somewhere. The NCAA can't do it, and I'm not bagging on the NCAA because everybody points to it like it's this monolithic operation in Indianapolis. The NCAA is only made up of NCAA member schools, so the NCAA can't do anything without the member schools being in lockstep with it and helping pass the legislation and enact the measures.
Yeah. Louisville put out that paper today. College athletics is running out of time. So everybody's like, man, everybody's hitting panic button. There's going to be a meeting with the president, a round table at the White House with NCAA leaders. I don't know if the government's going to take this or not. John Bryce on tonight, College Football Insider. He's now with USA Today. Get ready for him there. Find him at John D. Bryce 1 on X. Hey, really quick, Josh Heupel said, I think we probably should expand the college football playoff, and, yeah, we should probably go to 24 teams. And then I'm seeing some writers, some of your former colleagues say, coaches shouldn't be deciding how many teams we have in the playoff. So what's the right frame?
I think 16 is a good number, Nate. I don't think it's 24. I think this past year probably showed there were 14 to 16 very viable teams. You know, I had somebody point out to me over the weekend, actually I was in L.A. and meeting with some people, and they pointed out, like, look, Notre Dame could have won the national championship last year and didn't get into the field. But you're not looking at the 24th team in college football and saying, oh, man, that team could have won it all and just didn't get into the field. I think it waters it down. I think it cheapens it. We just talked on this interview right now, Nate, this visit, that there are 18 to 20 teams that are the true halves, and everybody else is just fighting to keep an Eagles talent on the edge of the cliff. We don't need a 24-team playoff. That's too many. How many? I can't keep up with it. How many? Are there 360 Division I basketball teams? I can't recall. It's a huge number.
Yeah.
We're not sending 90 into March Madness. There are 136 NCAA, FBS football teams. I would contend you almost need FCS playoff expansion more than you need FBS playoff expansion.
Okay, should coaches be in that conversation at all? Saying they want influence, right? Do they have influence? How many teams get in the playoff?
Yeah, I think they, to an extent they should. They should have a voice. Like, nobody wants to be in an industry where they feel like their voice carries no weight for big picture items, and certainly college football is a massive industry right now. So, yeah, I think it's fine. I mean, Josh Heupel wanting 24, I don't agree with. It's not as bad as what Eli Drinkwitz floated last fall when he was maybe 32 or 40 or an even larger number than 24. And I like Coach Drink a lot. I think he's really, really sharp. That's just a really bad idea.
John Bryce is on. First interview since he's joining his new opportunity, usatoday.com. I've worked with these guys, a good team there, and he's on the college football beat now for USA Today. Find him at John D. Bryce 1, and he'll kick things off here very soon with USA Today, College Football Insider. John, good to have you, man. Thanks a lot.
Great to have you, Nate. Thanks for the kind words. Look forward to continuing to visit throughout the year.
Appreciate it. John Bryce in tonight, now with USA Today, their national college football insider, here on the Nate Brown Show on South Dakota Sports Talk Show, Fox Sports Radio. Yeah, so I don't know, guys. I mean, Louisville, saying we're losing money. They lost $12 million as an athletic department. It's just a recurring deficit. And so Louisville's saying, we can't keep this up. And you hear people say, it's not sustainable. And then other people like Colin Cowherd, not AI Colin, but the real Colin Cowherd, he says, everybody says it's not sustainable. It is sustainable. Nothing's happened. Nothing's wrong. It's sustainable for the biggest, most powerful universities. We're talking about a ton of universities that are trying to play FBS. It's not even close. Revenue sharing with athletes, all of the NIL on top of it. Louisville's just saying, we spend this much on athletics, we lost this much, and now we can't keep up. Ohio State lost over $30 million as an athletic department when they won a national football title. They won a national football title, and they lost $30 million. That's Ohio State. So that Louisville's just saying, we got to get something done. They propose have to have a spending cap. Every school has to have a certain cap that you can spend on NIL. And, we talked about that, I think, years ago now. It's like, they got to have a cap. Well, then you get into the lawsuits, and it's just a never-ending circle. The circle of death. It's just never-ending. Lawsuit, they challenge it, another lawsuit, spending cap, another lawsuit. I mean, it's just never-ending. How's this going to change? The math is not working. Maybe the biggest the biggest programs of all can maybe survive it, but it's tough. It's tough, and that's Louisville. So let's see. Matthew Collar is on tonight from Minnesota. He is a Vikings writer. He's independent. His company is Purple Insider. Matthew Collar on Kyler Murray. Let's see. Ben Lieber yesterday on the show said no. Matthew Collar says what to the Nate Brown recommendation? Coming up.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
All kinds of vehicles, all kinds of loans, all as low as 4.99% APR. At Black Hills Federal Credit Union, we're here to help all kinds of people, just like you. Get moving. From truck drivers to van warriors, we got the right loan to fit your style with rates as low as 4.99% APR. Wherever the road takes you, start with BHFCU. Apply today at bhfcu.com or text or call 605-718-1818.
Offer subject to credit approval. BHFCU is member-owned and insured by NCUA.
How do you make a buffet day even better? Make it a play day. The Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade is your place for good food and good times. Won the big game? Make it a play day. Aced your test? Make it a play day. Just need to get out of the house? Make it a play day. The Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade has all your favorites and all kinds of fun. So bring your family, bring your friends, bring your team. For good food and good times, make it a buffet day and a play day at the Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade.
Hi, I'm Tim Wrench, and I'm seeking personal injury cases. If you've been injured because someone else did something wrong, call me up. I'm a trial lawyer. I've tried criminal and civil cases for decades, and I can use all of that experience to help you. I also know this, that when insurance companies know that you're represented by a trial lawyer, they take your claim more seriously, and if it is to be settled, it's settled better with a trial lawyer. Wrench Law, 605-341-1111, wrenchlaw.com.
Finding the right gear starts with finding the right people. At Trav's Outfitter, we take the time to get to know you, to understand the work you do, and help you find the gear that fits that work. We're here to earn your trust one visit at a time. Because when you work hard, where you shop should work just as hard for you. Visit us in the old Kmart building. Trav's Outfitter, best selection, best service, no BS.
At Dakota Discount RV, we're in it for the long haul, just like you. Whether it's cross-country adventures, weekends by the lake, or family time under the stars, we're here to keep you rolling for years to come. While others are packing up, we're doubling down with dependable service, great prices, and the biggest selection in the region. Your journey doesn't stop here, and neither do we. Here tomorrow, here for every mile ahead. Visit us in Rapid City or Somerset or online at dakotadiscountrv.com.
Collins Siding has been the region's premier window siding, door, and gutter installation specialist since 1974. They use only the highest quality materials and never compromise on their workmanship. Collins Siding is licensed, bonded, and their estimates always include labor, materials, and applicable permits and taxes. Collins Siding has been providing top quality service and exceeding high standards for over 45 years, and you can find out how by visiting them at 2016 Cherry Avenue. Collins Siding, 2016 Cherry Avenue, Rapid City.
Where can you get surprisingly great rates on auto and renter's insurance? At State Farm. I'm State Farm agent Matt McCormick, and I'm your one-stop shop in Rapid City for protecting your car and your stuff for surprisingly great rates. So stop looking around. Call me, State Farm agent Matt McCormick, for surprisingly great auto and renter's rates today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to State Farm underwriting requirements.
This is The Nate Brown Show, also streaming live on YouTube. Subscribe to The Nate Brown Show on YouTube.
It is South Dakota Sports Talk Show. We are live on Fox Sports Radio, KWSN Sioux Falls. Glad you're here. Also, Fox Sports Rapid City. Appreciate you across the state. Paul Kiefer's coming up, Rapid City Christian head girls basketball coach. We're covering high school to college to the pros, try and do it each time out. If you miss parts of the show, you want to hear some Viking stuff, you can go to the Nate Brown Show podcast. If you miss any parts of the show, go to the Nate Brown Show podcast. Every show right there on demand on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, wherever you get your podcast. Search the Nate Brown Show, and you've got this show. We are live, speaking of the Vikings, with Matthew Coller, purpleinsider.football. Find his site, hit it, independent, doing a great job. Find him on X at Matthew Coller. And the Vikings one step closer to getting Kyler Murray. Is everybody on board? I'm on board, Matthew. Are you on board?
Yeah, I mean, I just wrote today that I think it's the best idea for the Minnesota Vikings because Kyler Murray is the best player available. And I know that, you know, there's some hesitation from fans because, well, one, you know, he's had injuries. He has not thrown the ball down the field the best over the last couple of years, and there's been some conversation about, you know, the work ethic or whatever, you know, this and that, personality, leadership, and so forth. But, I mean, I guess my question for Vikings fans would be, tell me what available quarterback is perfect. Is Josh Allen out there? Is Patrick Mahomes available? And if they're not, then you need to go with the best player. And, you know, something I think is a lot of times narratives with players that nobody ever watches, like, oh, I don't know, a guy from the Arizona Cardinals, you know, they become more powerful than the actual facts. And when you look at the way that Murray played in 2024 under Drew Petzing, who by all reports he got along with very well, and they were on the right page, same thing goes for Jonathan Gannon, that he played like a top 15 quarterback. And I went back even through what NFL coaches and executives said about him when it came to the quarterback tiers that Mike Sando does every year, and he has consistently been a top 15 quarterback from the opinion of NFL coaches and NFL executives. How often do you get a chance to get a guy like that in free agency for $1 million because Arizona has to foot the bill on his guarantees? I think that you just can't do a whole heck of a lot better than that if you're in the quarterback market, which obviously the Vikings are because of how J.J. McCarthy played last year.
Okay, so a couple of things on it. You mentioned the big one, $1.3 million. That's the minimum now that the Vikings could get Kyler Murray for. He's essentially going to get to choose where he wants to go and the team that wants him because he doesn't need the money. The Cardinals are on the hook for it. And so the Vikings don't – this is no risk there, is there? What's the risk, I guess, other than, oh, no, if he plays well, then J.J. McCarthy's career is over. I don't know the risk. If he doesn't play well, they can go to J.J. They can decide, are we in on this guy or are we not? Or then you go back to square one. So what's the risk here?
Right, yeah, that's exactly the point, is that, you know, there was a transition tag placed on Daniel Jones, who we know the Vikings are a fan of. That's $36 million, and if the Vikings wanted to get Daniel Jones, they would have to make an offer that Indianapolis didn't want to match, so you're probably talking $40 million plus versus $1 million for Kyler Murray. I mean, the Vikings have a special teams undrafted free agent out of Air Force that they pay $1 million. And you're going to talk about a top 15 quarterback. And there really is no risk because if you got him in the building and then suddenly J.J. McCarthy just found it and was awesome in training camp, well, you could trade Kyler Murray away, or you could keep him as your backup quarterback for $1 million, which would be perfectly fine since McCarthy has had a lot of injuries. The upside to this is we need to remember that Kyler Murray is the number 1 overall draft pick who has had multiple very, very good NFL seasons with a franchise that's pretty bad. He's not even 30 years old yet, and this is someone with a lot of talent who could potentially be a multi-year option for the Vikings. I mean, the best-case scenario could be that he plays extremely well, gels with Kevin O'Connell and Justin Jefferson, and they feel like they've got their quarterback going forward. The most likely is probably that you win 9 or 10 games. Maybe you make the playoffs with Murray. It's hard to see them winning a Super Bowl with their current roster and him as the quarterback, and then you draft your next guy. So you're remaining competitive. You give plenty of time for J.J. McCarthy to maybe take steps behind the scenes. That shouldn't be completely counted out as something that could happen, is the development year that he really needed taking place and then becoming the quarterback in 2027, or you could potentially draft someone. So he kind of bridges you to that next phase of where the roster is at. Well, also, and I'd like to add this too, if we're talking about entertainment value, football is entertainment, who would be more entertaining to watch than Kyler Murray for a 17-game season? If you're not likely to win the Super Bowl, I feel like him running around, scrambling, and making plays would be a lot more fun than watching Kirk Cousins check down over and over again to try to get you to 8 or 9 wins.
Yeah, it's not even close. I mean, I said I'm actually excited for Vikings fans. I'm like, you guys should be juiced here. You just got to make the call, and you got to make it happen. Cardinals are going to release Kyler Murray next week, and I believe the Vikings should jump on it. Matthew Collar does as well. He joins us, Purple Insider. Find him on X at Matthew Collar. So here's one thing people aren't saying. They say, well, Kyler, maybe he's had motivational problems. Maybe he had some issues down in Arizona. When guys get a second chance and then he has this roster and he has KOC, nobody says, well, what if Kyler Murray wants to prove that he is the guy? No, nobody's saying that. They're saying, well, he just doesn't have the work ethic. I wonder if this second chance revives him.
Yeah, and I also think that stuff like that we always have to question, right? I mean, this is a guy who is 5'10" and has been one of the most dominant high school players of all time, was an unbelievable college quarterback to the point where he got drafted number 1 overall at that size, came in the league, and by his second year, he's turned that franchise back into a contender, and by 2021, he was one of the better quarterbacks in the entire NFL. And, I mean, gosh, if that guy doesn't do any work, that's pretty impressive for someone who is the smallest quarterback in the league and yet was capable of doing that. And, look, I'm not saying there's nothing to it or the video games or the personality or whatever else, but I'm always cautious with those things because once I was told that Sam Darnold saw ghosts and could never win anything, and now he's a Super Bowl champion. And I even go back to, Jeff George had a horrible reputation way back in the 90s, comes to the Vikings, goes 8-2 down the stretch, saves their 1999 season and gives them a chance to compete after Randall Cunningham got benched. I mean, how about Kirk Cousins, who before Kevin O'Connell got here was considered probably the worst leader in the entire NFL at the quarterback position, and by the middle of the year in 2022, they're calling him Kirk O'Chains and putting chains on him and celebrating on the planes home. I really think that Kevin O'Connell's culture, as you see in the NFLPA survey, again, that came out, this time it was leaked, and here's Kevin O'Connell in a bad season still getting A's from his players. It's a tremendous locker room for somebody to come into. So, and by the way, the Cardinals owner got an F in the NFLPA survey. So I think that that's been a pretty bad organization. And one more stat for you that's pretty fun. Kyler Murray went 31-35 between 2020 and 2024 in games that he has not played. Or actually, it was even a little bit better of a record through 2025. Games he hasn't played, they've gone 5-25. So their winning percentage with him was like 45%, and without him, it's like 10%. So, I mean, that's just been a bad team. They haven't built a good roster. They fired GMs. They fired coaches. This Vikings team is in a much better spot than that.
Matthew Collar on tonight from Minneapolis. Purple Insider covers the Vikings. Follow him at Matthew Collar on X. Find his YouTube as well, Purple Insider. So here's a side note, and Kyler Murray's the big story to me today. I want the Vikings to make this happen. Jonathan Grenard. So that came out today that the Vikings could trade him. He wants a little bit more money. What do you think the Vikings should do? Are they going to be able to shed some salary cap here? What are they still $40 million over? What are they going to do with Grenard?
And to me, that was a shout-out of, hey, if someone will give us a fairly high draft pick, we would consider doing this. Jonathan Grenard is one of the best players on the team. He's not a guy, and he's a major leader for them. He's not a guy that I would want to see go out. But this is the problem when a franchise puts all of its chips to the middle of the table on J.J. McCarthy being good last year, and they spend like crazy in the offseason, and then, the bill comes due. The people who like to go on the internet and say the salary cap is fake, I present you with they could trade Jonathan Grenard, because I promise they don't want to do it, but they might not have any other choice. And if he's sitting there saying, no, I want more money, which he is probably deserving of, considering the price tags out there for pass rushers, it might be better for the Vikings to just draft another guy in a draft that is supposed to be deep with edge rushers. But, man, that is something you don't want to do. And when we talked with Rob Brzezinski, the acting general manager at the NFL Combine, he made it very clear we're not pushing all of our money down into the future again this year. We're going to make this work on a shoestring budget. And that was actually a little surprising to me, because I kind of thought, man, you've already gone this far. What's one more year? But I think it's clear that the ownership said, we gave you all the money last year. You failed. We're not writing a blank check for you again this offseason. And sometimes that comes along with a guy like Jonathan Grenard being a cap casualty, but I do think there will be about 20 teams that are making that phone call.
Okay, Matthew Coller, I predicted weeks ago, Cardinals are going to release Kyler, Vikings are going to get him, and I'm there even more today. You really think this will happen?
I think that it's the number one choice. But I don't know for sure, because this actually comes down to what Kyler wants. Does Kyler Murray want to be a Minnesota Viking? Now, I tend to think that, the guy who wears number 18 would be pretty compelling. You don't have to present much more to Kyler Murray than what quarterbacks have done throwing to Justin Jefferson, what every other quarterback has done outside of J.J. McCarthy when playing for Kevin O'Connell. But there are other teams that are interested, and, could he choose a Pittsburgh or someone like that? Or, the Atlanta Falcons might be kind of interesting to him if they're not really sold on the idea of Michael Penix. There will be other teams for sure that are going after him, and there are, potentially other options for the Vikings to consider. I just have a tough time with the Geno Smith idea. The guy's a turnover and sack machine, and he's in his mid-30s. He's been banged up quite a bit. I don't love that idea. Kirk coming back, it just feels like a limited ceiling there. So, I think that this is the clear-cut number one option, but it could come down to just what Kyler Murray thinks.
Matthew Coller is on tonight. Find him at Purple Insider as he covers the Vikings. It's going to be interesting. Where will they go? Kyler Murray available. And it's going to be happening, it seems like, pretty quick, as the Cardinals are going to release him next week. And they'll be on the hook for his big money. Matthew, good to have you, man. Thanks a lot.
Yep, thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. Purple Insiders, Matthew Coller. Watch his YouTube show, find his work. Purple Insider here on the Nate Brown Show. Matthew Coller is a Kyler Murray proponent. So mark one up for the Nate Brown Show. And Matthew Coller's on our side. So what else do we got to do? Anybody else on our side with Kyler Murray? That's my question of the day. Tell me who the Vikings should select to bring in at quarterback. Kyler Murray? Mac Jones? That's going to be a little harder. The Mac Jones, that's kind of a pipe dream, I think. That's a little harder because Kyler Murray could come in for $1 million. Cardinals are releasing him. They're paying all of his money. This is the perfect scenario. The Vikings just lucked into it. As a matter of fact, it's good that J.J. McCarthy struggled last year. Otherwise, the Vikings wouldn't be lucking into getting a top-tier quarterback. But what do you say, Geno Smith? What do you say, Tua? So you tell me on the text line, 605-720-1067. On the Barron's Wilson text line, question of the day, tell me who the Vikings should select then at quarterback to bring in. It's a Kyler Murray and nobody else for me. Let's see. Voters on Twitter are saying 57%, over 50%, Kyler Murray. So you're on board. I feel like I've gotten a little pushback on this show, but 57% say Kyler, 30% Mac Jones, 11% Geno Smith. Imagine voting for Geno Smith if you're a Vikings fan. Kyler Murray's available, and you're going to go Geno Smith? Lord, are you trying to throw off the poll here? Listener text, Jimmy G. Are you kidding around? Was that just a joke? You're joking. Jimmy G. Let's see. Listener text, Kyler's going to go to Miami for the weather. Tua's going to be plan B for the Vikes. I don't think so. I think Kyler's coming to Minnesota for the weather. Playing indoors, all going to be good. No worries. It's fine. Playing indoors, throwing it, slinging it, KOC and Justin Jefferson. This is the time. Make it happen. Here on the Nate Brown Show, we got a lot to cover tonight, including this next one. There's this trend, okay? There's this trend of middle school kids doing something. They're middle school athletes. And there's this trend. I've seen it now 2 weeks in a row, and I've heard about this. Middle school athletes are announcing where they're going to play high school. These are middle school kids. What do we think of this whole thing? I've got a different take. I'm going to blame somebody else besides the middle schooler coming up.
This is the Nate Brown.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one. So you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
What do you call a place that's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait, there's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps 1 minute, and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside. You don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
I didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
There are 1 billion credit card transactions around the world every day. That's 11,698 swipes a second. It's easy to forget that behind each one, there's a person, a family, a dream, a connection being made. The Black Hills Federal Credit Union Visa, for members who want to make the most of every transaction.
Stop by one shop, get your estimate, and schedule your car for a repair. The question now becomes which shop you choose. If you like quality, choose J&J Truck and Auto Body. They have ASE, PPG, and Gold iCar certifications that allow them to offer you a nationwide warranty. And they'll work with your insurance company so you're pleased with the outcome. J&J Truck and Auto Body, 1513 East Philadelphia.
Your sports, your show. From East River to West River, this is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown Show.
Welcome in. The Nate Brown Show is on tonight. Glad you're here. Hope you're having a solid day, everybody. It's always a great day in South Dakota. The show's motto, South Dakota Sports Talk Show on Fox Sports Radio, powered by Trav's Outfitter, our official outfitter of South Dakota Sports Talk Show, brought to you by a South Dakota independent retailer and proud of it. Brand new store in Rapid City on Campbell Street. When it comes to work boots, you got to get into Trav's Outfitter. I'm telling you, they'd rather earn your trust than force a sale. It's the kind of place you go back to when it's time for the next pair. Trav's Outfitter, experts in work and Western footwear. Unbelievable selection, great price point. It's not about the commission stuff, the quick sale. It's about getting it right. See the experts. Comfort and support matter when you work for a living. Get it at Trav's Outfitter. I'm telling you, best selection, best service, no BS. Trav'sOutfitter.com. Take a look. And the new store in Rapid City on Campbell Street. Okay, let's see here. This is interesting to me. So I wasn't going to hit on this much, but I started hearing about this, and now it's happening again today. So I've started hearing about this middle school athlete trend. This middle school athlete thing, what is it? What is it? Have you heard about middle school kids doing like social media graphics announcing where they're going to end up going to high school? Oh, boy. So I have heard about this. It has happened in South Dakota, by the way. So, and you know what everybody rushes to? Everybody says, 8th graders doing high school commitments with graphics. I mean, this is the end of the world. This is, and I understand. I want to say that as well. But here's what I've seen the last couple of weeks. There was some middle schooler, a baseball player, who announced he was going to go to play high school baseball at whatever. That got everybody's attention. Now today, there's a middle school football player from Texas who announced his commitment to the high school that he's going to go play for in Texas. And he tagged recruiters and coaches in the announcement on X. Well, and then everybody reacted to it today. So this is a middle school football player announcing a high school commitment that goes viral because of our social media culture today. Everything just explodes. And so I'm going to tell you, is it that big of a deal? I mean, I don't like it. It is a here's our culture. Look at me. It's the total look at me thing. And so I don't like it at all. I mean, we got 8th graders who think they're just big dogs. It's like, I'm going to announce. But where did this all come from, guys? This all came from, you started seeing this stuff a long time ago on social media with the high schoolers doing the commitments, right? And then where did it start even before that? We have the hats on the table, and they put it on ESPN. We put hats on a table, and the high school kid sits there, and we cover it live, and then he picks up one hat and throws that away, and then he chooses the other hat, and people go crazy on signing day. So, of course, it's going to bleed down into the lower levels. I mean, they just copy whatever's going on. So this all this stuff started. High school kids on TV, they're choosing their hats and the whole thing. Then it went to social media. They produced professional videos, hype videos. Where am I going to play college football? And they'd post their videos. And now middle schoolers are saying, it's not going to college. We're making such a big deal of signing stuff. Middle school football player in Texas has announced where he's going to go play high school. And you know what's happened? I actually blame our social media culture, yes, the look at me thing. I actually blame some people that make this a big deal, and there's huge influencers and accounts. I was looking at this story today, this middle school kid. His stuff got shared so much, and people criticized it so much, he ended up deleting his post today. This is middle school. And you got huge accounts that are criticizing him. I understand. You can criticize, I guess. Why do we have to throw the middle schooler under the bus? We adults created the system that does this stuff. Just look at your friend's Facebook feed. Look at me. Look at me. My kids are doing this. My kids are doing that. We're awesome. And then we decide throwing the middle schooler under the bus because we can't believe he committed where he's going to go to high school and he put graphics together. That's the culture that's been created. So the adults then share his commitment. They throw him under the bus. They say, this is terrible. And then he deletes his post, and now it's a big deal, and everybody's going crazy. 8th graders shouldn't even be doing this. Everybody's doing it. So, yeah, I agree. I mean, it's silly. It's goofy. But we created the social media culture that we all love it. We post this, we post that. Look at me. We have it all going on. We got everything under control. We're doing really, really well. And so then we wonder why the middle schoolers hype things up because and by the way, in the youth sports culture, we hype up our kids so much, right? I mean, just over the top. My kid's the best, the best, the best. And we put their stuff on social media. So then we're surprised when they put stuff on social media. It's amazing. It is amazing. Let's see here. Listener text, Nate, don't want to be a buzzkill. Those middle schoolers want to feel special. Most will never get the experience of declaring for a college sport. Yeah, I mean, I understand it. I understand it. Listener text, next up is announcing which middle school people are going to go to from elementary. I haven't seen that one yet. So I just find that interesting. I've had a couple of weeks here. There was a baseball player who did it. You know, big account shared it, and it went viral. It's like, I can't believe these middle school kids are doing it. Now a middle school football player in Texas does it. Big account shared. This is terrible. I can't believe this culture. How ironic is that? The big social media accounts that are sharing this stuff, criticizing it, they're also making hay off of sharing it. Isn't that interesting to me? How ironic. Huh. All right. Into the next hour on the Nate Brown Show, I've got something for South Dakota basketball fans. Okay? State tournament basketball's coming up. We've never asked this question before. Which state basketball tournament do you follow the most? So I'm essentially asking you, which state basketball tournament do you follow the most? Maybe you watch it on TV. Maybe you go to it every year. I've gone to a state basketball tournament every year for 25 years here in South Dakota. I've gone to a state basketball. Well, there was one that was missing. Something happened. But I've gone there for the last 25 years. Which state basketball tournament do you follow the most? We'll discuss next.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
Some bread just exists. From its origin in a land far away to its destination as a bland sandwich. Country Hearth, it's made right here in the Midwest and is ready to get busy in your kitchen. Grilled or toasted and stacked sky high with all the meats and veggies. This is bread with a purpose, making every sandwich better than the last. From classic comfort to creative cravings, Country Hearth is always the right base. Don't just build a sandwich, build a legend with Country Hearth.
Inheritance, romance, and investment scams continue to plague South Dakotans with high dollar amount losses. They prey on vulnerable adults and swindle consumers out of their funds. Scammers befriend the victim, making it difficult for them to see the reality of what's happening. If you have a loved one susceptible to this type of scam, sit down and talk with them about these issues before it happens to them. If you or a loved one have been scammed in this manner, please reach out to the South Dakota Office of Attorney General's Consumer Protection Division at 800-300-1986.
Introducing the $25,000 mortgage match from Tin Lizzy Gaming Resort. we're paying off one lucky Clubhouse member's mortgage up to $25,000 just for playing with us. Earn free daily entries by using your Clubhouse card when you play, or sign up for a free Clubhouse card today. The more you play, the more chances you have to win. Then, be here March 28th, and you could be our grand prize winner. Learn more at tinlizzy.com.
Danny Manholt Rapid Chevrolet buys cars. You heard that right. We don't just sell cars, we buy them too. We make cash offers to purchase local cars, trucks, and SUVs every day. Tired of listing online? Tired of messages? Or just tired of making payments? Whatever the reason, make an appointment at rapidchevrolet.com for a no-obligation appraisal. It's fast and free. When you're ready to sell, we're ready to buy. At Danny Manholt Rapid Chevrolet, Rapid City.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM. Fox Sports Rapid City.
We all know life's busy, and if you get sick, you can get behind pretty quick. That's where Black Hills Urgent Care comes in. No appointments needed, no long waits, just fast, affordable care to get you feeling better quicker. Black Hills Urgent Care has 2 locations in Rapid City on Haynes Avenue and Mountain View Road. You can simply check in online at bhucare.com. That's with the letter U, bhucare.com. When you need care, see the team at Black Hills Urgent Care, the faster way to get better.
Who is it?
You're Prince Charming.
Oh, hi.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
I've been calling to you, Rapunzel. Rapunzel, let down your golden hair for days.
I didn't hear you. The witch got the tower new replacement windows from Renewal by Anderson.
Didn't you wonder where I was?
Not really. My new windows are very energy efficient, keeping my tower very comfortable, and they have greatly reduced the noise levels.
What noise? You live in a forest.
Well, a certain needy prince is constantly yelling my name.
Do you not love me anymore?
Oh, quit being so dramatic.
Dramatic? Moi?
Yes, and Renewal by Anderson exclusively offers gorgeous ensemble security doors, safe and durable.
Do they?
You should get them for the castle along with new Acclaim replacement windows.
If I do, will you marry me?
Let's not rush it. And Prince Charming, get the windows for you, not me.
Oh, wait. Windows. For me?
Does your castle need new windows? Discover Acclaim windows and ensemble entry doors, custom fit and exclusive to Renewal by Anderson. Free consultations. Visit rbarapidcity.com.
One more time.
This is the Nate Brown Show. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
All right, let's do this tonight. Second hour, ready to roll. Tuesday edition of the program, South Dakota Sports Talk Show on Fox Sports Radio. Glad you're in. Let's make it count for you. Try and give you some thought-provoking sports talk, South Dakota style, here on Fox Sports Radio, KWSN Sioux Falls, and Fox Sports Rapid City. The Nate Brown Show, powered by Black Hills Federal Credit Union, my family's banking partner. And I want you to know, being a member, it's been the right choice. Great place when it comes to great rates, convenience, mobile banking on my phone. All saves me a ton of time. Personal connection as well. It helped me and my wife get new debit cards. We need some new ones. Boom, they got them right now. I'm a member at BHFCU. Glad I switched from my last bank. Get a bank that works for you. Great rates right now at BHFCU. Become a member at BHFCU.com. 18 locations in South Dakota from the Black Hills to Sioux Falls. Start at BHFCU.com. Make the choice. Right choice for us, no doubt. BHFCU.com. Paul Kiefer's coming up from Rapid City Christian, head girls basketball coach. They've had a nice year. Just look at their record. They're playing in the Sodak 16 Thursday. I thought, hey, Rapid City Christian 17-4. Nice record. Only a few seniors on the basketball team, so nice future coming up. Paul Kiefer's the head coach. We'll talk Class A girls basketball. Eric Williams is in tonight from San Diego, national NFL writer for FoxSports.com. A lot to discuss from Kyler Murray and the Vikes. That's my quest. Got to make it work. Got to make it happen. To other teams that didn't franchise tag any guys today, like Seattle and Kenneth Walker, the great running back, Super Bowl star. We'll get to it. Eric Williams, he's covered the NFC West, so he knows Kyler well. FoxSports.com, national NFL writer. He's on tap. So I got to make an announcement. I want you guys to check this out tomorrow. It's coming out tomorrow morning. Normally I promote the Nate Brown Show podcast, and that's great. I mean, we do this show, and then we put it in podcast form, so if you can't drive, catch the whole drive time live, you can go to the Nate Brown Show podcast on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, wherever, And you can listen to the show. You maybe missed Matthew Collar in the first hour from Minnesota. Maybe missed John Bryce, College Football Insider. He was really, really good. So you can catch the podcast. But I got to tell you, tomorrow morning, I was a guest on a podcast. I haven't done it. Man, have I done this in a long time? I was a guest. I'm guest on some radio shows, but I haven't been a guest on a podcast. We did a full hour State of Hoops podcast. So this is a South Dakota basketball podcast. I encourage you to check it out with Todd Schleckaway and Nate Malchow. They've had a great history, just huge fans of South Dakota high school basketball. Of course, Nate Malchow, a great coach here at Sioux Falls, Washington, and had a great career in the whole thing. Now he's the AD. We talked about state tournament basketball and the SODAC 16 and all of that stuff. So State of Hoops podcast, little programming note, new podcast. If you haven't checked it out, you're a basketball fan, hit the State of Hoops podcast. I'm on tomorrow. They're going to release that in the morning. It's called State of Hoops, and you can find it where you get your podcasts. And why do I say this? They didn't ask me one of the big questions. What's one of the big questions? We haven't asked it on this show before. So it's tournament time in South Dakota, and I would love to hear from you, your background of which state basketball tournament you follow the most. Because, man, everybody argues all the time. I hear from former athletes, coaches, fans, this tournament is the best. No, this tournament is the best. So here's the scenario. You're going to have a lot of state tournaments in Rapid City this year. You got AA girls coming up next week. So you got AA girls in Rapid City next week. Then you got AA boys and A boys in Rapid City the next week. So you're talking about a lot of hoops that people are going to be able to watch. And I was throwing this question out. My question of the day on the Nate Brown Show, wherever you're listening from, East River to West River, which state tournament do you follow the most? That's all I want to know. You have a history. Maybe you played Class A. Maybe you played B. Maybe you're a AA person. Which state tournament today do you still follow the most? I want to hear from basketball passionate fans on the question of the day on the text line, if you would. We'll set you up with a free buffet to the Pizza Ranch. A little incentive. Our partners at the Pizza Ranch give us a buffet a day on the Nate Brown Show. We'll pull out a winner tonight at the end of the program. We'll text you if you're the winner. Give you a free buffet at the Pizza Ranch in Brandon or East 10th Street, Sioux Falls. Set you up with a free buffet at the Pizza Ranch for answering our question of the day. Which state basketball tournament do you follow the most today? AA, A, or B? And I'm curious how this is going to go because AA, huge schools, huge population. So does everybody, is that the one that's going to come over the top? However, I get all this attention from the Class Bs. The Class Bs in Aberdeen. Guess what? I have not been live. I've gone to a state tournament every single year, 25 straight years. Me and some buddies, we try and make it. Now, I covered them. And then now I'm just too old and I'm out of my game. I mean, I just go and watch them now. So we make it a point in March. You're going to go to watch the state basketball tournament. And we have watched AA and A every single year. And I've tried to determine what has been the best tournament for me. I can't answer that. I'm never a guy that waffles. You can't waffle on a show like this. But I can't answer that because every tournament's different. You're going to say, well, the fans and the smaller schools at Class A are better. They have more support. I'm going to say that probably. But when you had like the showdown last year, that was good stuff. Yeah, that was good stuff with Mitchell in that game, Brandon Valley. I mean, there was some good basketball at the AA level. So I'm not telling you Class A doesn't have good basketball. It does. And that's been one of my favorites to watch. AA can be very special. I think AA takes a hit because they say, well, it's the big schools. There's no community pride. It's just kind of it's just one of those things. Big schools, everybody gets lost in the shuffle. AA has had some really good basketball players. Girls to boys, really good basketball. So I think AA gets hit of, it's not special like the Bees in Aberdeen. I think it is, and people can say it easy. It's like, well, I go to the Bees every year, and that's the real tournament. That's a great tournament, It's a great tournament. I mean, maybe it's the Bees in Huron with the girls. Maybe it's the Bees in Aberdeen. I know that's a special environment. I love the way Aberdeen and that community embraces that tournament. There's something about small town South Dakota basketball. But I've been a AA and A guy myself. AA and A guy myself. Which tournament gets you to follow it the most? Our question of the day tonight. You vote AA, A, or B. We got 257 votes flying in. 257 votes. One person said all of them. Okay? Well, it's a little hard to do. Games are on at the same time. 37% of the audience is following AA the most. I'm surprised tonight. 33% Class B tournament, 30% Class A. Pretty tight across the board on the Nate Brown Show tonight. You text in 605-720-1067. AA gets a bad rap. Everybody loves saying the AA tournament, oh, no, not big crowds, not this. It's really high-level basketball. It's high-level basketball. Each tournament offers something different. I'm a AA, A guy myself. I have not watched the Bees live in Aberdeen. What am I missing? I have not watched the Bees live in Aberdeen. Tell me what I'm missing, and then I'll see if I want to check it out. Okay, I'm going to be going to the AA and A this year. I'm going to be back and forth. AA and A boys, it's here in Rapid City. AA girls, I'll be watching that as well next weekend. All right, let's jump to the NFL again. Eric Williams is a national NFL writer for FoxSports.com. He's covered the NFC West. He knows Kyler Murray. Does he agree with me that Kyler Murray is the best fit for the Vikings? Coming up.
This is South Dakota's Sport.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one, so you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
What do you call a place? It's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait, there's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
I didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
There are 1 billion credit card transactions around the world every day. That's 11,698 swipes a second. It's easy to forget that behind each one, there's a person, a family, a dream, a connection being made. the Black Hills Federal Credit Union Visa. For members who want to make the most of every transaction.
For a vehicle right now, you probably have noticed it's sometimes hard to find the right one. That's where Summit Automotive Group steps in. Stacy and Matt and their staff working hard to get a great selection of pre-owned vehicles at affordable prices. At Summit Automotive, they have a different outlook on selling you a vehicle. You'll experience stress-free shopping, friendly, honest service with no high-pressure sales gimmicks. Before you buy, drop by East Highway 44, SummitAutoGRP.com.
Live callers, big-time interview, breaking sports news. This is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate.
Welcome back in. The Nate Brown Show is on Fox Sports Radio, KWSN Sioux Falls, and Fox Sports Rapid City. South Dakota Sports Talk Show live with Eric Williams, our next guest, courtesy of the Pizza Ranch Studio Hotline. NFL writer, FoxSports.com. He's covered the NFC West, so he's followed Kyler Murray in that scene. I'm on the train of the Minnesota Vikings needing to make the move and talk Kyler Murray into coming to Minnesota. Kyler's going to get his choice, basically, on what's the right fit for him because the Cardinals are going to release him. They're going to pay his big money. He could play for somebody for $1.3 million, and I believe it has to be the Vikings. Eric Williams is in. Eric, good to get you. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, Nate.
Appreciate you. So I said you cover the NFC West, so you've seen this stuff. I've been a proponent for the last few weeks. I said if the Cardinals release Kyler Murray, which it looks like they were going to do, and they announced that today, they are going to release him next week. I said the Vikings are slam dunk with Kevin O'Connell, Justin Jefferson, a team that can win now. A new career revival for Kyler Murray. Tell me why that does not make sense. Does not.
Well, I think for a lot of reasons, like you said, it does make sense. I think the one reason maybe it doesn't make sense because there's not a clear path to the starting job. You know, I would imagine that there would have to be some kind of agreement where he was going to compete with JJ, who, you know, they drafted. And so that would be, I would think, a hurdle, you know, if you're looking just for a clean path for Kyler to get the job. Other than that, I mean, it makes a lot of sense. You know, like you said, you know, Arizona's paying his salary. Any money that he makes with another team will be offset by the nearly $40 million in guaranteed money that he's going to make from the Cardinals for the upcoming season. I think, you know, scheme fit might be another thing. I don't know if he's a perfect scheme fit for what, you know, Kevin wants to do offensively. I would imagine there's going to be a lot of pressure for him to perform, too, based on where their roster sits right now and the weapons that they have offensively. So if he came in and struggled a little bit, fans might turn against him pretty quickly. So that would be another, you know, thing that you'd have to figure out. I think concerns just about Kyler as a player are going to be health. You know, he finished the season on the injured reserve with a foot injury, so you're going to want to know if you're a team interested in him, you know, where his body is at physically. And then you're going to want to get to know him as a person and see, are these, you know, reports about leadership issues, about, you know, work habit issues, are those legitimate? And are those things that you feel like a change in environment can change in terms of him as a person? One thing I do know about Kyler is Kyler likes to be coached hard. Anybody that I've talked to, you know, within organizations at Arizona, you know, the issue with him getting along with coaches, I think, is a little overblown. You know, his dad was very hard on him growing up and was the person that coached him through high school. So he's used to being coached hard and responds well to kind of old school coaching.
I do want to ask your football opinion, Eric. Football opinion. Does Kyler Murray have some juice left? He had some good years at Arizona, and then his injury years, you know, the team only won 5 games. When he didn't play for him, they won 5 games in 5 years when he didn't play. Does he have football juice left?
Yeah, Kyler can still play. I mean, he's 28, 29 years old. The ball still jumps out of his hand, so he's got easy gas in terms of ability to push the ball down the football field. And even with the foot injury, he's still probably one of the most athletic quarterbacks in the league. So he can still run around and make plays with his feet. So to me, like, the skill set, I don't think is the issue. I think fit's going to be an issue, and then, you know, how he's going to respond to his teammates, and will he take on a leadership role, and will he be able to finish the season healthy? And that's an issue that obviously the Vikings have with JJ is staying on the football field. So those are going to be the things that are going to be talked about, and things you're going to have to figure out with Kyler.
I will say, Cardinals are just going to let him go. Where did it go wrong here? They got a new coach now, new GM. I mean, so they're starting fresh. He wasn't their guy. Why would the Cardinals just let him go? It seems, are they just on a rebuild right now?
Yeah, they're rebuilding. They got a new head coach in Mike LaFleur, who wants to bring in his own guy that knows his system. And so I think it makes sense that they're moving on from him. A little surprising that they couldn't get anything, you know, via trade, but I think a lot of teams were unwilling to give up a draft pick, knowing that the Cardinals were probably just going to release him anyway. So why not just let him, you know, hit the open market, and then he could kind of choose where he wants to go. The other thing when you're making a trade like that is you don't want to trade for a player and he doesn't want to go to where he's being traded. And so maybe that was part of the issue too. Teams that were interested, Kyler maybe didn't want to go to, and so just said, hey, just give me my release and I can choose. But I think the issue was, you know, Monty Ossenfort didn't draft Kyler. That wasn't his choice. He was basically given to him, you know, by a previous regime. Steve Keim and Cliff Kingsbury were the people involved in drafting Kyler. And I just think he wasn't a great fit for what they wanted to do offensively. Seemed like he got along well with Jonathan Gannon, the previous head coach there. But I guess they just didn't do a great job of surrounding him with pieces and protecting him so that he could play at an elite level for the duration of the season.
Where would you choose to go if you're Kyler Murray? So you've got this release next week. I think the Vikings make a ton of sense for him too. But I guess there's Atlanta out there. There's Pittsburgh out there. Would you choose to go anywhere else?
Well, you're probably going to laugh, but I would go to Cleveland. I think that Cleveland has pieces in place for him to be successful. I think their head coach, Todd Monken, did a good job of creating an offense around a running quarterback already with Lamar Jackson. I know it's cold there, so, you know, December, January, it would be tough for a smaller quarterback. But I feel like he'd get a longer runway in Cleveland because they haven't had success for a long time. So they would be willing to be a little more patient with him. And I think that's a place where he could be successful just because of the transition of teams within that division. You know, it's much different than it was a couple of years ago.
Eric Williams on tonight, national NFL writer for FoxSports.com. Let's stay in the NFC West. Franchise tag day today. Seahawks don't do that to Kenneth Walker. So what's the real story there? Kenneth Walker, a running back, is his value already going down? What did the Seahawks do there?
No, John Snyder traditionally allows free agents to hit the open market to kind of establish their value, and then the team can choose whether or not they want to match that contract that they've kind of shopped out there, or if they want to move on. And I think in terms of the running back position, there's a cap on what they're willing to spend if you're Seattle, and maybe they don't value Walker as much as he's going to be valued on the open market. So if you're looking at Walker potentially making over $10 million a year on a 3-year deal, the Seahawks would rather spend that money on other players at premium positions and feel like they can go out there and either draft a running back that can give them similar production or sign somebody in free agency that doesn't cost as much. And so, yeah, it is. It's interesting. You know, it's Super Bowl MVP, but you also have to consider that you know, Walker struggled to stay healthy at times. You know, during his time in Seattle. You know, he's also from Memphis and trains in Dallas. So if you're Walker, maybe you want to get a little closer to home in terms of, you know, where you're going to play and closer to family. So it's kind of a two-way street when you're talking about free agency.
How about the Raiders, Eric? What's your take on, would they let Max Crosby go? Would they let him go to Dallas, go to Buffalo? You know, a lot of Raiders people say, we got to keep Crosby. We're going to bring in Fernando Mendoza, and we got to build this thing. What should the Raiders do? What are they going to do?
I think because of the status of the player and his commitment to the organization over a long period of time and the fact that he hasn't won there, I think they're willing to listen to offers, but the offers are going to have to be Micah Parsons-esque. You know, you're going to have to get 2 1s and a player if you're the Raiders, if you're going to give up the kind of, you know, franchise-changing player like Max. The one thing that you have to understand about Max is if you've been to games in Las Vegas, I mean, he's the guy. They build all their pregame hype around that player. He's the most famous player, most representative player of that franchise. So it's not only the production that you're giving up a guy that is essentially the face of the franchise. Now it's probably going to be Mendoza once they take him number 1 overall. But he's still young. You know, he's going to be 29, I believe, this coming summer in August. I guess the picks that you could get in return, though, would help kind of speed up the real rebuilding process around Mendoza. And they're still probably not going to be good for a year or two. So, you know, they would be doing Max a favor by moving him on to a place that's closer to winning the Super Bowl. So I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that he's going to be traded, but I do think it's a possibility if they get an offer that they like and think is fair, and they can send Max to a place where he can win.
How far is Dallas willing to go? How far is Buffalo willing to go? Eric Williams on tonight. Find him at foxsports.com, national NFL writer. Great day to have him on. Eric, I appreciate you. Thanks a lot.
Sure, no problem. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it, Nate.
Appreciate your time. Eric Williams live tonight. Follow him at foxsports.com, national NFL writer. Eric Williams on the Nate Brown Show tonight. Let's come back to South Dakota and go to high school hoops. We're going to be talking to as many coaches as we can, from girls to boys. Get you an inside track into Class A girls. Mapea Luta is the favorite to win it all. They just came up short last year. But what about Rapid City Christian? 17-4 in the Sodak 16. Can they make it to the Class A girls state tournament? Their head coach is Paul Kiefer. He's coming up.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
Stock up and save on the toughest filters in the business during Wix Filter Sale Days. This month at your local Auto Value. Score some of the season's best deals on top-performing Wix filters. Plus enjoy savings on oil, fluids, grease, batteries, tools, and more. It's the perfect time to upgrade, service vehicles, and get ready for the road ahead. See store for official sale dates. Auto Value. We've got the parts. We've got the smarts.
Want to do more of what you love and earn cash back doing it? With a Visa Cashback credit card from Black Hills Federal Credit Union, it's possible. Earn 1.5% cash back on everyday purchases like gas and groceries, and use it to fund your shoe obsession, vinyl collection, or airline upgrade. Plus, spend $2,000 in your first 90 days and get a $200 cashback bonus. Learn more at bhfcu.com/cashback. Offer subject to credit approval. Other restrictions apply.
If you want the peace of mind that your next pre-owned vehicle is the best it can be, you want Honda True. And you only find it at Danny Manholt Rushmore Honda. Our Honda certified pre-owned vehicles are thoroughly inspected and backed by 7-year, 100,000-mile powertrain coverage, up to 2 complimentary oil changes, 24/7 roadside assistance, inspection report, and 3-day exchange. You simply can't buy the wrong vehicle. Search our inventory at honda-true.com or see us at Denny Manholt Rushmore Honda.
Get ready for an unforgettable night of magic and laughter at Cadillac Jack's Gaming Resort with David Anthony's Evening of Magic and Hypnosis. Join us April 11th for a high-energy show packed with jaw-dropping illusions and hilarious interactive hypnosis that puts audience volunteers in the spotlight. Doors open at 5:30 with showtime from 6 to 7:30. It's fast-paced fun and full of surprises. You won't want to miss it. Visit CadillacJacksGaming.com to get your tickets today and see how your night plays out.
Doesn't matter where your ride's from.
At Al's D&I, we baby them, every single one. Got a ride from across the pond? No worries. Let the ASE certified pros at Al's D&I pamper your pride and joy. Foreign or domestic, maintenance or repair. Doesn't matter if it requires special parts or tools or if its owner's manual is in another language. At Al's D&I, we don't care where your ride's from, but we do take great care to treat your ride like it is our own. Drive on in to Al's D&I, Sturgis Road, and online at alsdniautorepair.com.
Great news. I just got the State Farm Personal Price Plan on our home and auto insurance.
You told our agent about my thing for romance novels?
No, you don't have to get that personal. Our agent just helped me choose affordable options to create a personalized price just for us.
Oh, sweet. Then you won't believe the love triangle Jen is in now.
Contact me, State Farm agent Scott Carlson, to create your personal price plan today.
Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
And 200, 2 and a quarter, 2 to the bid, 20 bomb, 50, want to get 250 here, no 75, 275 now, 3.
Hi, folks. Kevin McPherson Auction Company. We can turn your property to cash. We can sell your personal property and your real estate at auction. A family business for 64 years and counting. We've sold several millions of dollars in property over the years. We're happy to consult with you on your auction plans. Let our selling experience work for you. Call McPherson Auction, 605-348-1369. Visit us on our web at McPhersonAuction.com.
You're listening to The Nate Brown Show, also streaming right now on X. Follow us and watch the show live at Nate Brown Show.
All right, welcome in from high school to college to the pros. Trying to get you covered tonight. Packed show tonight on a Tuesday. The Nate Brown Show across the state. Fox Sports Radio, KWSN Sioux Falls, and Fox Sports Rapid City. Glad you're here. Well, it's high school tournament time, man. We're trying to keep you plugged in from West River to East River. Talk to as many coaches as we can. Sodak 16 time. And let's go Class A girls. Rapid City Christian. Nice season, 17-4. They're in the Sodak 16 Thursday. They'll be taking on Lakota Tech. Their head coach, the Rapid City Christian Comets, is Paul Kiefer, and he's here on the Nate Brown Show. Coach, good to get you on. How are you?
Hey, good, Nate. Appreciate you having me.
Well, I appreciate your time. So I look at your team, and first thing I notice, I'm going, wait here. There's not like it's not senior laden. You got some nice seniors, but it's not a bunch of them. You got some nice senior leaders, but you got a lot of young players contributing too. I'll ask you, 17-4 record. Did you expect this? Are you ahead of schedule? What'd you think of this program going in?
Yeah, I think we probably won a few more games this year than I was expecting in the beginning. But we've got a good group, a lot of girls that buy in, and I think the key for us is our seniors have done not only a great job on the court, but they've just done a great job of leading and bringing the younger girls in. So it kind of eliminates some of that, I got to worry about me stuff and some of that, what, for lack of a better way of putting it, girl drama. So, yeah, I just think our team is getting along really well and has molded real nice this year.
17-4 record, and I look at it and I say, okay, you play Lakota Tech in the Sodak 16 Thursday. You played them earlier. You lost in the L&I. So my guess is you want to say we're different now, but are they too? How do you think your team may be different?
Yeah, I think we got in that game, and we didn't play great, and it was tied at half. And then I just think maybe for us, and maybe being a little young, and that moment just got a little big in the semifinals there. But I look back, I've watched the tape a few times. You kind of don't even recognize some of the stuff you see, but I think it was a good learning lesson for us at that time, and I think our girls are going to be ready to play.
Does it help you when you're talking kind of a rematch of somebody that you faced? I don't know what's better, Coach, facing somebody East River that maybe you didn't know, or facing Lakota Tech, a rematch in a Sodak 16 to go to state?
Yeah, I think there's definitely pros and cons probably of both options, but for us, we're familiar with them. We've played them at least once the last 3, 4, or 5 years, or since they started their school, and it's really local this year. Last year we were in Chamberlain, so there's a lot of positives for that, and I think both teams are going to bring a big crowd, and I think it's going to be just a nice electric atmosphere on Thursday night.
Paul Kiefer joining us, talking Rapid City Christian girls basketball. He's had a nice season with them, 17-4. They play Lakota Tech and the Sodak 16, a shot to go to state. When you have a one-game shot here, this is it. What do you talk to the girls about, man? It's a lot of pressure. What do you try and talk to them about to keep the game in front of you?
Yeah, I was just telling our AD, it's been a long week. We played Thursday, and now we don't play till Thursday, so our girls are ready. I know that, but yeah, there's just a lot of the human element, high school kid element that you can't plan for. So you just try to prepare the best you can, try to put them in some tough spots in practice, have them watch film, give them good scouting reports, just do the most you can as a coach. But at the end of the day, it's not up to the coaches. It's the players that are going to win the game. And, I just think our team has got a good focus right now, and I think we're going to be ready to go.
What about one of your leaders is one of those seniors, Sadie Marshall? I think she's been a nice player for you. Talk about her ability and what she brings to the game.
Yeah, Sadie's had a great year. It's just the total maturation of a kid, really, really raw as an 8th grader freshman, and every year's just gotten better and just had an awesome senior year. Been a good leader, really started to rebound about halfway through the year. But she's aggressive. We kind of, when she plays well, we play well. I'm just overall just super proud of her and everything that she's accomplished this year.
You feel like your season has tested you a little bit? I look at some of your games. Huge win over Sioux Falls Christian. You've played St. Thomas More. They got you. I look at that Mapia-Luta game. They got you. But you played some teams, I feel like, that have maybe set you up for this. What do you feel of your schedule? Some games, maybe not so hard, but you feel you've been challenged so far?
Yeah, I think overall we've played a really good schedule. You only control some of your schedule, but with our young team, I think we just kind of had the right mix this year. But yeah, playing Stevens, Sioux Falls Christian, we win East, played 2 games. So yeah, I think we're battle tested, and that's why you have a hard schedule. I know all coaches maybe don't believe in that, but I feel that you have to test yourself during the year to know what you're going to have at the end of the year.
Do you love the Stevens matchup? I've talked to people on both sides of that saying we should have more games like that in Rapid City.
I wish we could play them every year. I wish we'd play Central. I'm not sure what the holdup is, but hopefully they'll get it done.
Okay, so we'll put that on. I'll keep going with that Rapid City Basketball Classic. By the way, you guys were right there with Stevens. What did that tell you? I think the Stevens girls are a good team in AA. What did that tell you the other night?
Yeah, that was just one of probably the best girls games that I've been to out here. It was an electric atmosphere. It was full. I think last year we were maybe a little intimidated by playing them. This year I don't think we were. I think we were up 1 with 55 seconds left, maybe something like that. But just overall, just a great game. We didn't execute a couple things down the stretch, and it kind of cost us. And that's, when you play good teams, that's kind of the way those go. But Coach Vandenbrink does a great job. They're fast. They got a lot of speed, presented some issues for us here and there. But overall, I think that was a well-timed game for us moving into the postseason.
Rapid City Christian girls head coach Paul Kiefer on tonight of the Sodak 16 matchups coming up Thursday. They're going to be playing Lakota Tech. Boy, I guess they've got a player. I've seen her, an 8th grader. She looks like she can do a lot of things, shooting, handling the ball. Can an 8th grader be one of their best players?
Yeah, she is. She's really good. She does a good job of getting down, kind of leaking out and getting layups. And I just think we got to be tough and physical. She's a good player. She's probably going to get her points. They got Lizzie Robinson's another good player. And they're pretty young too. So we just got to kind of control what we control with them and keep them to limit some of the easy shots and force them to make tough shots. And at the end of the day, we'll just see how it unfolds.
One of the best matchups, I think, in Class A girls will be this Sodak 16 matchup with Rapid City Christian and Lakota Tech. Rematch from the L&I, and the head coach for the Comets, 17-4. Nice year. Paul Kiefer on tonight. We'll be watching Thursday. Coach, good luck to you. Thanks a lot.
Appreciate you, Nate, and appreciate all the coverage you do for out here.
I appreciate that. Paul Kiefer on tonight talking Rapid City Christian girls basketball. They've had a nice year. I think surprised some people maybe. 17-4 and on the verge of the State A tournament. A lot of people are wondering, you talk Mapia Luta a ton, rightfully so, and they're the team to beat, no doubt. But Rapid City Christian just kept on going. Some big wins. Sioux Falls Christian, that was kind of the one that got everybody's attention. And Rapid City Christian almost knocked off Stevens, right there with Stevens the other night. Christian and Lakota Tech coming up Thursday in the Sodak 16. Coming back, who's hot and who's not? Wrapping it up.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
How do you make a buffet day even better? Make it a play day. The Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade is your place for good food and good times. Won the big game? Make it a play day. Aced your test? Make it a play day. Just need to get out of the house? Make it a play day. The Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade has all your favorites and all kinds of fun. So bring your family, bring your friends, bring your team. For good food and good times, make it a buffet day and a play day at the Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade.
At Dakota Bank, we're more than just a place to bank. We're your neighbors. From everyday banking to home mortgages, insurance, and trust services, we're here for every step of your financial journey. We believe in doing what's right for you because we live here, work here, and care about our communities just like you do. Go with confidence, go with trust, go with Dakota Bank. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Insurance and investment products are not FDIC insured, may lose value, and have no bank guarantee.
Whether you're a pro or a Joe, a weekend warrior or a gardening great, Monument Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine is here when you need us. Nobody plans an injury, but when people throughout the Black Hills and beyond suffer a setback, Monument Health Orthopedics is here to provide comprehensive medical care. Our team of board-certified orthopedic surgeons and specialists is dedicated to helping patients regain the quality of life they've lost due to an injury, arthritis, or joint wear and tear. Monument Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine for everyday athletes like you.
In the studio today, I have Weston and Denise Chapman, owners of Black Hills Tire. What kind of diesel services does Black Hills Tire specialize in?
Black Hills Tire is really going to focus on a lot of new diesel services. We're doing factory maintenance and service. We're doing fuel system diagnostics and repair. We're going to do engine repair, even all the way into engine overhauls and engine removals and installation, whether it's driveline components and repair, transmission service, transmission and clutch replacements, brakes. We're doing everything. Check us out at blackhillstire.com.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Clear skies tonight with lows around 29. Southwest winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. 71 tomorrow, mainly clear. Lows dip down to about 35 tomorrow night. Upper 60s Thursday with a chance of rain. Chance for snow on Friday. Highs in the low 40s. About an inch of snow Friday. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Right now, 54.
At Highmark Credit Union, every swipe of your Spirit debit card does more than just make a purchase. It helps our regional schools. Through our Spirit Card program, funds go directly back to local classrooms and booster clubs. So far, we've donated over $29,000, supporting students, teachers, and activities that make our region stronger. Highmark Credit Union, banking that gives back. We'll make it happen. Federally insured by the NCUA.
Hi, this is David Brenneman with Coldwell Banker, Black Hills Legacy in Rapid City. Have you thought about buying a home or real estate in the Black Hills? Maybe you want to upgrade to your forever home? I have been helping people in the Black Hills find the right home for nearly 20 years. When it comes to buying or selling, experience matters. Let me do the work and you can open the door to your new home. Say hello to a good buy with me, David Brenneman. To get started, just Google David Brenneman, Coldwell Banker.
From high school to college to the pros, from Rapid City to Sioux Falls, the Nate Brown Show is South Dakota's Sports Talk.
All right, who's hot and who's not? Wrapping up the show tonight on a Tuesday on the Nate Brown Show, brought to you by the Pizza Ranch. Who's hot and who's not? The Pizza Ranch, home of everyone's favorite buffet at East 10th Street, Sioux Falls, and in Brandon. Stop by this week for the best buffet in town. In my who's hot, I'm going to brag a little bit. I'm ready. You guys ready for? Are you ready for the Duke Blue Devils to be the team in March Madness? Duke now. I've been watching these guys. The real deal. I'm a Dookie. You can hate that or love it. I'm a Dookie. I'm going to be right here every day. Duke just took down NC State by 30 last night. NC State's that's a pretty good team. That's a pretty good team. They beat them by 30 on the road. My Dukies are coming. They are the number one team in the nation. They might be your number one overall seed. The Dukies on fire right now, a team to beat in March Madness. Get ready. And our Pizza Ranch Who's Not category tonight, I don't know where this, I don't know what happened here, but we're going to go over to Iowa State. Iowa State had a huge problem with their gymnastics program. And if you follow this, I mean, look at the story. They shut down the program. There was unbelievable drama. I guess coach, parents, athletes. I mean, there's some stuff. Nobody knows anything about it. And then Iowa State just ended gymnastics at the university today. This is over. Not just the season. The program is over. Iowa State shutting down gymnastics. That's been a pretty good program. Thanks for listening to the Nate Brown Show. The podcast going up right now. See you tomorrow.
Your sandwich is trying to tell you something. It's saying,